for me, as like a sci-fi nerd, I want to see black characters in sci-fi, but I don't want to see the already white ones painted black, because that's not the same. I
agree.
know that for me, obviously, Doctor Who regenerates, and that's lovely, good for him, but I still don't want a black one.
No, can we imagine the episode when Doctor Who regenerates and the black man comes up?
Telephone box,
like,
bro. Man got shades
like,
on.
Obviously, the current one is a woman. I wasn't a big fan of
Who's
that.
currently Joe Martin?
What's the name? Jodie Whittaker.
I don't think I've ever watched Doctor Who.
Yeah, I don't like. They've had black characters. Like one of his assistants was black, and that was great. You can do that, but to just regenerate into a black person, why? So I feel like it's about how representation is done, because sometimes it just feels like a
quote box.
I'm giving you blackness. Enjoy it. And obviously, it's nice because it's nice to see, but we deserve more than
our own
just
opportunities.
a token. We deserve to have a whole something created around us. Like,
and if you just to go in that direction, because obviously I'm in that field a bit, like I totally agree with you, and I think this is why what I love about the industry I'm in is that I can see I'm around so many black creatives, black writers, directors, animations and whatnot, and they're solely doing what you just mentioned, or like creating these things. And the major issue sometimes that happens is that at the top it gets less and less and less. And there's there's difference between diversity and inclusiveness. So diversity could be, let's say you have a company, of 9 people, and like it goes a hierarchy, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In the bottom 5, that's where the diversity is. So you have, your Asian, your black, your ethnic minorities, global majorities and stuff. That's diverse, but we want inclusive. We want people. Global majority, they call it nowadays. So I know. So, but we want inclusiveness. We want those people to be in different parts of that in infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? Why can't the head be a black person, etc., and have that own vision and come through with their way of innovating their infrastructure and what they're trying to do? Do you know what I mean? So
because a lot of these companies suffer from institutional racism, bro. That's what it is. The racism is coming from the inside.
It's inside.
Like, is that the top?
It's inside. Yeah, literally. No, it is. And what happens is, especially working class communities, is that they start pointing fingers at each other because they're both being squeezed by the neck, innit? Like when the people go, oh, don't go to, up north because it's like this, and it's like, no, but they're also poor. And if you create poverty and working and have tower block buildings and having 900 people live in a tower block, of course you're gonna get poverty in gangs and etc. etc. It's nothing to do with race. The biggest knife crimes in the country is it happens in Glasgow, but that don't get put in the papers. Do you know what I mean? It's all about perception, and those things happen because of the infrastructure, but then they imply their narrative. So it's interesting. Thoughts, feelings, anyone?
How you feeling, Max?
Huh?
How you feeling?
Well, no, man. There's a lot of stuff I'm feeling still. Like I just think as a black community, we should just stop complaining about a lot of stuff and just
get on with it.
That's what I personally think.
Why is that?
Huh?
Why is that?
Because I was talking about this and that, like that was gonna happen. We need action, innit?
That's a good point. I think it's good to talk about it, but like you're saying, are you going to actually apply something? What are you actually going to do? I was talking about a topic about that. So that's kind of called like slacktivism, where you just talk about an activist movement, but you don't ever do anything.
It's very counterproductive.
Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. So it's like, what in your own personal community, that doesn't necessarily mean go march every day, but what in your community on a day-to-day basis can you do personally to inflict change? I remember this lady said to me, when the Black Lives Matter movement, she said this to me. So what could you do on a day-to-day basis? And I was like, I don't know. She was like, why don't you say like put in like Black Lives Matter or something like pro-black in your email signature, so when you're emailing people and you're contacting people, they know where you stand with certain topics. I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And it's so minute. Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay. That can just let people know what you stand for, who you are.
But then again, that can backfire.
Elaborate.
Because let's say, for example, I'm an employer, I'm not the biggest fan of black people. I'm reading through your email, your application form, and then I've come to the bottom of your email, and now I see Black Lives Matter enthusiast. Yeah, or whatever you would put at the end of it. Really and truly, that's your email's getting put in the trash. So, yeah, like I said, it can go one or two ways.
Go on.
But if I'm emailing you and that's the way you feel, please, by all means, threaten me.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, you're not gonna want to work somewhere like that anyway. But that's how things.
I see what you're saying. Like, it can create a tension before things can arise. I get that, but I also agree with Rianna. I feel like those are the conversations. For some reason, like talking about racism and oppression is like everyone always gets tense, and I'm always like, why are you getting tense? Like, it's a conversation. If you know you ain't done nothing, why? But it's because when you benefit from certain things, it's hard to. It's really, a part of you dies inside. I believe
it's so mad. You know, being black is actually very hard. You know,
yeah, for no reason. Like,
I just think so, man. Like, even little stuff like naming your child,
you have to think about it. No, genuinely, you have to think about
that because my names are very like Michael Monroe. Like, you don't know my thing. You get it? So
serious.
No, I think that's what I've gotten a lot of job opportunities in my opinion.
Do you know how mad it is? So I'm looking to like transition to tech. So last week I was
anyone tech jobs. There you go.
I was talking to this guy and his name's Temi. He was like, oh yeah, he has an opening at his company. I should email him. So we're on the phone. So he sent me his email and I saw Henry.
Happens a lot.
What?
So who is that?
And I was so confused because
you're looking for the email. Like, I've got email.
So I've emailed him. And just to see, like, maybe he's giving me, like, his colleague's one instead. So I've emailed. And no, it was him. But I was just thinking, and then when I spoke to another colleague, she's like, oh, yeah, Henry told me. And it's like, but you introduce yourself to everyone as Temi. And even, like, the way I first met him was through, like, his side hustle thing. And on there, although it's professional, he goes by Temi. So for me, it rattled me to be speaking to Temi, but when I'm emailing you, I'm seeing Henry. But I'm still saying Temi when I email you because that's how I know you. But it's just like, so if I were to say Temi to someone that works with you, would they be like, who the hell is that? Because to them, you go by Henry. And it's like, things like that is so mad because you actually have to think about what you're going to go as in the workplace. Same way, like for black women, obviously not so much now, but before I had locks, I had to consider my hair.
You're like, why are you wearing that over your locks?
Because my hair's a mess.
Okay.
No, my hair's a mess. Okay. But in general, like before I had locks, I used to have to consider. I mean, I didn't really care. I'm going with what I'm going with. But I remember working in Waitrose and I had purple braids, and my manager said to me, "You're gonna have to change that because it's not a natural hair color." There was a white girl who had bright red hair. That's not her natural hair color. So unless she's changing her hair color, then maybe I'll consider it. But unless you're giving me the money, I'm not changing my braids.
Not even unless you even.
But it's just.
Did the person go to the right white girl with red hair?
Of course not. But I'm never changing my hair because you don't like it. Because that's between you and God. You're not my bank account. But it's just mad how you have to consider. And I see that women on the TL talking about how they have to seriously consider changing their wig because they know that when they go in on Tuesday with a different wig to Monday, they're going to get a whole load of questions. And it shouldn't be that way because I should be able to just come in with my hair.
The question is my wig going to change the job?
Of course not, but they're just so fascinated.
I don't think they understand. Obviously, they don't understand it.
But no, but they do because white women wear wigs. Like I'm and they wear wigs. They wear hair extensions. They do the same thing black women do. But when black women do it,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They don't understand it when it comes from a black woman.
Crazy.
I don't understand why.
So
like I've had people come in. Oh, your hair's not. Where's your hand going?
Yeah. That is one thing I hate. Yeah, when white people they come in. No.
Thank you for complimenting me, but you can compliment me without your hands.
Yeah, they are very touchy.
Is that an entitlement? Huh? You have to ask. Is that an entitlement?
What's this?
Yeah. Why do you feel like you're able to do that? You shouldn't be able to.
But also anyone.
Yeah, regardless of my hair, whatever. You shouldn't do it to anybody.
You changed your hair again. Yeah. You wish you could, but you cannot. And I'm sorry to you. But yes, I have changed my hair again.
That's actually bad still.
Even going back to the hair thing, another example is I saw on the TL, someone was like, I have to be considerate of what I take to eat for lunch at work.
I was about to say that, like guys, what do you expect? Like, they season the food with salt and pepper. That's tight.
Yeah, but
You know,
that is so bad. How can a smell make you move like that?
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, because you get, that smells exotic.
Yeah.
Hey, look, actually, you know what's mad? You actually have to consider what it's actually true.
Can't even take an Aki and saltfish today.
Yeah, but what's that egg?
No, facts. I've gotten that before still.
Scrambled egg and boiled dumplings.
I've gotten that before still.
Wow. Oh, bless. No, it's interesting and. Some of them are innocent though. Some of them don't even be doing it on a bad I think thing. We're gonna go into. I think there's a difference between cultural. What's it called? Cultural reparation and appreciation. Like, if someone doesn't know and they're like, oh, what is that? Like, I have a friend. Like on the last episode, Nora. Sometimes she might not know, but she wants to be educated. That's okay. Yeah. There's some people.
But then again, I can't lie to you. It depends because like. The white people I grew up with, like in the ends, like
they know what it is.
They know it. They you get it. No, but it's different to like the white people like that might have grown up like in Essex
because that's because accessibility. So there's different. Again, that's what
I think that's what it is, and I think people feel what they don't know as well.
Yeah, of course. I went to see Mo Gilligan in on stage, and he did stuff thing. It was like when like white people do make racist jokes, and he's like, "Oh, with that Afrobeats and dancehall, yeah, like, don't listen to that Jumanji music." And I'm just like, "Oh my days!" But it's like sometimes these people like they don't.
Yeah, you don't know what they say behind closed doors.
Oh, yeah. Imagine the other day, I found this so I don't care what anybody says. I went to I think Kent or Essex, one of them. I don't know where I went, but it was over there, and like. The smoking area was called Montego Bay.
Okay.
I was triggered.
Oh my days.
That got me the Montego Bay smoking area.
They said, yeah, ganja.
You're taking the piss.
In my head, I'm thinking, first of all, you can't even smoke weed in a club. Why you even like
advertisement right now?
I was like that's personally, I thought I was mad. See that club? Anyway, it's mad still.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, so what's your lot's opinion and thoughts on like? Okay, we're gonna obviously there's been stuff like blackfishing has come to surface recently on social media. Culture. What's the word?
Cultural appropriation.
There we go. Cultural appropriation, stuff like that. Like, what's your lot's thoughts and takes on people using our culture, not monetizing from it, people pretending to be black?
Personally, I love it. Shall I tell you why? Because you see all their grandfathers and their dads and all the great granddads. They're pissed off. It's burning them because they're seeing that their kids. Or trying to be like us.
This is why you need Max on the pod, you know, because you always say the contrary opinion. It's so interesting. This is why you need Max on the pod.
I hear what he's saying.
but
I don't know if I agree, but
there you go.
Why? You ain't gonna agree, but it's a lot.
Jokes.
We're all thinking the same thing, realistically. But we're all thinking it.
Yeah.
Like, you slandered us for, but you want to be like us. Like, why do you think police batter us and all that? Because like all of these rappers say, their kids are listening to them. Trust me.
True. Yeah, no. When you go to a concert, who do you see? Fam?
Trust me. Trust me.
I went Stormzy. Obviously, Stormzy in it. But
what if you go Glastonbury now? Glastonbury? Who's fucking sorry, my French? Who's like headlining them shows? Dave, Stormzy's, Wiley's. Come on, man.
I don't know.
I know.
I don't know why he would.
I don't know, but come on, man. Like, come on, man. He's got bossy in it. They like bossy in that, innit? Do you know what I mean? But come on, man.
No, you.
Come on, man.
But Taz, yeah, thoughts on blackfishing, cultural appropriation, all them kind of things.
I do hear what Mike said, but yeah, I feel like it's very mad because, like we were saying earlier, you have your own identity. So why do you have to come and use ours to try and profit off of yourself, if that makes sense? So like, yeah, man, that's literally my thoughts on it.
Really?
Obviously I'm not a fan. I feel like aside from the obvious, it's quite insulting because you're taking up spaces that could be given to actual black people. And I think it also comes with like a sense of entitlement. So for example, in the West Indian community, in the Surf community, there was a guy called White Chocolate. And he's just a white kid that can wine. I mean, he can't, but in his mind he can wine. And so he was at a lot of like events and carnivals.
What's his name? White Chocolate?
White Chocolate. So there's White Boy Wine and there's White Chocolate.
Okay,
I
had to confirm which one
What
was
was
it.
the first? White Boy Whining.
White Boy Winer.
Yeah.
And then there's White Chocolate.
Just can I just stop you there? It's so interesting that they've already used their race
There
as their
we go.
marketing brand.
Right.
But
Cool.
yeah, continue.
So White Chocolate, he claims that he's from St. Lucia. He's not. He's as English can be. And so he's like a dancer, so he'll have like appearances where he just whining, and like you'll see carnival videos of him like across the world on like speaker tops and stuff whining. Cool. Then he did like a panel thing, and they were talking about soca and like it going to the masses or whatever. And he used his chest to say that he basically pioneered whining, and that he's the reason why soca and like whining and dancing and things like that are so big. Like,
Wow.
in like, especially like in the UK, because he's obviously British. And I just felt like there are so many people that have been working so hard to bring soca and West Indian culture to the masses. For this white guy who isn't even West Indian to big up his chest to say he's the reason why and he's one of the pioneers, it's insulting. And I feel like it's highly unnecessary, because there are white people, like I have a white friend and he's as English can be, but he loves West Indian culture. But he's very aware of the fact that he is not West Indian. So he would say he's British, but he's Grenadian by adoption. And that's fine, because he still understands that he's English. But he doesn't go around saying, yeah, because he can wine, he's now a pioneer of whining, and that he's the reason why the circuit community in the UK is as big as it is. And I feel like stuff like that, and obviously there was a whole issue with Homegirl from Little Mix and all she's been doing, Jessie Nelson.
Who's that?
The one, there we go. I like reactions like that, because we don't.
Yeah,
know
no,
who
for
she
real.
is.
Who are you?
I
Like,
don't
you
know.
need to-
I
and
don't
feel
listen
like
to it. I don't know.
she was part of Little Mix, cool, and then she's left the group.
Like, what
and
did she do? Did she
she's
just do
become a
something mad?
solo artist, and she's decided that she's gonna adopt this persona where she's obviously we know she's white, but she's now my skin color basically.
What?
And then she said on an interview, it's because she was in Antigua for 3 weeks. Now,
Listen, if that Antigua heat is that hot, I'm flying over there.
There is no one that's catching that mad of a tan. Also, you're very orange, so that's not real. And then her song is all about bad boys. She's got a load of black men, and she's talking about bad boys. But if you look at her exes,
What?
yeah,
White,
and they are
upper-class
like,
men.
yeah, do you get it? So she's adopted this persona after leaving the group, and is now blackfishing. I mean, she doesn't look black, but in her mind, she's as close as can be. And now her hair is really curly when really it's straight, and her lips are a lot bigger than they were before. Like, she's trying so hard to emulate this persona that she's seen, and it's again insulting, because this is a caricature of what you think black women look like. And I mean, that's the issue with a lot of these girls that you see on like Instagram, or whatever, that are blackfishing. It's not, obviously there are black women that look like that, but that's just your idea of
interpretation
what
of it.
black women look like. And so if I look like this, and I automatically look like a black woman, and I mean, you never do. And it's just weird to see, because why? Like,
Yeah, I
enjoy your life.
want to say that. Do you feel like? 'Cause I saw a TikTok this morning actually, and I saw that song was on that week. It debuted at number 4, and I'm gonna say 92% of that push was because of the outrage and controversial topic about it. And obviously now, because that's last week's news, it dropped to 18.
Of course.
And it's so interesting. It's like controversy sells and it gets people talking. And what's that saying? But any publicity, was it bad publicity is good publicity?
Yeah.
Like,
So my thing is this now, yeah. Like, let me make you guys think now, yeah. So, like, hip hop, it's safe to say that hip hop and like soca and all of that bashment is predominantly like a black.
not predominantly.
It is.
But it is like it's black rooted.
Yeah.
So my thing is this, yeah. I'm black, but we have to. A lot of black people, I think we've got a lot of double standards, because, for example, like when racism was high in America, when like there was no black people like in flipping, for example, basketball or baseball, that all them things. We wanted to come into that community, right? A predominantly white community, right? And now, on the flip side, it's like they're trying to come to our community.
There's a way to do it though.
Exactly. So I think personally they shouldn't be monetizing and doing it in that way, but they are, which is wrong.
And we never have.
And we didn't have, but I just think we need to take into consideration that how things were before as well.
Okay. Nah.
If that kind of makes sense.
Cool. I guess what I beat out Max.
Cool. This is why you need Max on the pod, because Max will always say the opposite opinion, and I love that. Thank you, Max. MT versus M podcast now. I'm joking. I get what you're saying. Thank you for your opinion. Yeah. I personally think the reason why is because, look, just because we were accepted in a space, we need to understand like why it was shut in the first place. So it was shut because of systemic racism, etc., etc. Yeah. So we were asking for an even playing field. We've never said we want to take over this, and it gets to me all the time. Pro-black isn't anti-white, and I feel like a lot of people always, when we start talking about pro things, everyone was like, "But white people," and I'm like, I did not mention white people. I mentioned black. And this like even now, this episode is what does being black mean to you? And for the last 25 minutes, we actually haven't really spoken about black people. We've spoken about the concept of and the contrary of how white people affect us, and it shows you how much like effect it has on our community. And in saying that, it means that we wanted even playing field. We didn't want to take over spaces, but also we don't benefit from the institutions. So if we wanted to have something for ourselves, we're allowed to, because we've never had anything. It's always been, everything has always been colonized and taken and etc. We're not saying you can never come into a space. You can appreciate a space, but don't take over. And that's the problem. And this is why there's indigenous countries are like that. When you come to the island, you're getting annihilated. You think that you can come, because they have this protect our own mentality, because as soon as you step on, people are like, yeah, I want to party with you. I love you lot. I love your culture. Yeah. That's fine. Until 2 months later, I need to take this, I need to take that, I need to take that. Let me wear your stuff. Let me do all this stuff. And eventually, you have nothing of your own, in a sense. And I think that's what we were always saying, is because why is it that, like you said, why, I don't know, the person you was mentioned, these people are monetizing, and why they aren't even on the panel in the first place?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? But people who have been pioneers, artists, where's all the circle artists, all etc. Why are they not on the panel? Because they've been putting in the groundwork and doing the stuff. And I feel like it's not I'm not saying, oh, they can't come in our spaces. It's that they continuously like to monetize of our space and continuously like to take over our space, and that's why we have to like, shut that in the foot, because we can't do that. Try and get into a golf club. See how hard that is to get into. No, seriously. Like, try and get tennis. Tennis is a very, not saying easy sport, but the physical aspects of tennis, anyone can play tennis, right? But why is it so hard to get into? Because they make parameters. You have to be basically middle class to be in a tennis club. It's very expensive. It's only in certain areas. Why is Wimbledon in Wimbledon? Do you know? But deep it. There's a reason why certain things are put into places, and it's like, why don't we have a young black male tennis player that we know of? Why? All we can mention is Serena Williams and Venus, right?
That's all that.
Name it. And there's one guy that's French that I know. But as a whole, but come on, and that's a bang. I'm telling you, there's Mandem that could lick shots, that could say, yeah, I could be a sick time, but the opportunities are not there, and everything's shut up shop. So I hear what you're saying, but my ultimate opinion is, it's like, it's not saying they can't come to our space. It's that they like to do the same thing. So why can't we never have anything for our own? Land, because I know there's the things I missed, but go on.
No, I was just gonna say the comparison didn't make sense to me, because sport doesn't belong to any one race. Everyone plays sport. So I hear what you're saying. In fact, no, I don't hear what you're saying, because let's say basketball for an example. Basketball doesn't belong to a certain race. Everyone plays basketball. However, the basketball associations belong to that race. And so that's why it's hard for us to get in. So it's not that we're taking over their space necessarily, because sport belongs to everyone. It's just we're infiltrating the upper leagues of it. Whereas music, because that's what we're talking about in terms of black people, these sounds belong to us. So if you're going to come into our space, you need to come in with respect. Whereas sport, you walk down the street and anyone is doing sport. Everyone like it's gone back to the beginning of time.
If you think about then, what about country music?
Country music was black.
Black.
Yes, rock music was black.
Jazz,
we are the pioneers. That's what I'm saying. So they've taken it from us. So that's why when like Lil Nas X was coming up and all these white people were upset that he's ruining country music, it was people like him that started that sound. It's people like him that started that sound, and now he's coming back into a space that is rightfully his.
So I'm black in this country. I didn't even know that.
No, that's what I'm saying, and that's, I think that's the problem, that because we've only seen a certain demographic doing these sounds, we are led to believe that's theirs. No, because look at slavery. They were in the South, which is where country music comes from. They're the ones that started these sounds.
What's that woman's name again? I think the black lady. She won.
You're talking about. But these sounds started from these people that were in the South, and then their owners heard these sounds and thought, "Oh, I like that. I'm gonna take it over."
That happened many times in Motown as well.
There we go.
Like, most of the hit songs in the 60s were written or originally performed by black groups.
And then taken over. Elvis Presley is a thief.
Yeah.
A lot of his music was originally by black artists, and he thought, "Oh, I like the sound of that. Let me sing it." And because of his skin color, it blew. And I think that's the problem. We're not entering their arenas. We're just going back to ours. We're going home.
We've been playing away for time, basically.
And so when they now infiltrate things that are ours, that are newer, let's say like soca, obviously soca has a long history, but soca is current. It's frustrating because we've worked so hard to get to where we are, where I'm hearing soca songs in Love and Hip Hop trailers. That's like, every time I hear something like that, it's nuts to me because I instantly recognize it.
Love and Hip Hop.
There was a soca song in Love and Hip Hop in a trailer, and there was a Real Housewives or something trailer, and there was a soca song in there, and it rattled me because I'm not used to hearing music that I'm comfortable with in these kind of places. And so I feel like that's why. So 3 years ago, whenever it was, I went to Barbados, and it's my first time going to the Caribbean. And I think the thing that rattled me the most and also comforted me the most was the fact that I was just hearing my music everywhere I went. So I'm in the shop and I'm hearing soca. Whereas over here, I'm hearing Ed Sheeran. Yeah. And I might get a cheeky something, like a cheeky Sean Paul. And that's about it for what I'm hearing from the West Indies. Whereas there, on the radio, it's soca. And for me, it was mad because I'm not used to that.
Because when I go to Jamaica, I don't hear no hip hop.
There we go. And it's comforting because I'm home.
Yeah, because I similar. When I went to Jamaica, when I went to it, I was like, "Rah, this is actually home," because you realize how many layers you strip off. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to look over your shoulder, and obviously maybe for different reasons, but like you know what I mean. But like, you don't have to have this. I'm in this type of space. You can just really relax and be
like anywhere you go, people look at you like normal.
Like I see you, you see me, cool. Whereas in the UK, you know you have to have a certain amount of layers. Like we have, I can't go that area because of this type of thought. Or if I go to this area, how do I have to perceive myself? Except so many different things, and it's like
listen. I remember I saw a video the other day of some guy who was just going for a jog, and like some lady was running away from him.
Yeah.
But like I used to think like stuff like this, man. But it happened to me like the other day.
You jogged.
Huh? I didn't jog, but I was walking. I was walking home.
Wait, what? Michael jogs.
I was walking. I do jog, pussy, but anyway. But I was actually walking home, and like this lady, like, it's like she thought I was like,
I've literally been like that all my whole life. Like I'll be walking on my actual street, and like you walk with a pace. Let's say you go, and obviously it's like 9 a.m, 10 p.m. You're walking, you're cold, you got your jacket on.
I'm trying to get home, blood.
I'm trying to get home, and then there's a person in front of me walking really slow, and I'm like, I want to pass you, but the moment where I am less than a meter behind you and 1 meter in front of you is the most awkwardest moment, and that's happened to me when I've passed them, and then I have to do this because I'm actually now at my house. So it's like. it's tense.
Yeah,
It's tense.
I'm cheeky. I'm cheeky because I said to her, love, don't worry, I'm not gonna rob you. I'm just trying to go to my house. I said it in a proper like Cockney accent as well. I was like, love, I ain't trying to rob you. I'm just trying to go to my house. I mean, she just walked off.
Yeah, because
like I knew what it was.
She's embarrassed.
Embarrassed. Yeah, that's the thing. And then sometimes I've seen people like I'll open my gate and my gate will make noise and they go like you can see them ease and it's like wow.
And one thing I don't get,
I'm not scary.
Like they always try to say hi to you first. Like you're gonna
basically they say they do it in retail, innit? Like if someone's gonna rob a shop, you go to them and say hello because then now they're aware that you've seen them. So it's another defense mechanism.
Oh, I didn't even know that, but it's
so
mad.
if they're like, "Hi, you're right,"
yeah, I'm thinking, why you talk? I don't want to talk to you. and you know, so mad. I'm scared of them. You know. I think we just end this podcast. No, but seriously, I'm scared. I'm scared of white people.
Why?
I just think they're scary people, man.
Why? Now?
Still, the stuff they do is just not for me, man. A lot of stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Mike.
Tazir,
we haven't heard from you for a while, man.
Hello,
Talk
mate.
to the people
What
then.
do you want from me?
What do you mean? What do we want from you? Talk to the people then. Thoughts, feelings, man. Where's your head at?
No, I hate what Max is saying that he's scared. You know. Cause like I feel like they're capable.
Yeah.
And they're capable and they can get away with some mad stuff.
Like deep like this year. Like, do you really get black serial killers?
Yes.
Yeah, but
I'm not black.
Not
I'm
as
OJ.
much, but yes, they exist.
No, you do. Like you've got, but that's in America. Like you do, but when you deep it, like that's predominantly like a.
It's a white man thing. No, it is. Like I watch a lot of like documentaries.
Yeah, I can name their serial killers.
Okay, guys. Okay.
Genuinely,
You're saying
that's
this, yeah?
that's them man's.
I can name son of Sam, Ted Bundy,
Them man love that.
Yorkshire Ripper.
You know them. It's a bit.
Yeah, like
Okay,
no.
but
Serial killer,
also
documentary
remember,
and chill.
yeah, it's the demographic and the places that they are in.
I
So
hear it.
we forget that, like in this country, black people, and that means black and Caribbean, take up only 4.4% in this whole country.
I hear
Do you know how
that.
small that is?
But that aside, even in the
Yeah.
countries
What's the
where,
point?
let's say the Nordic countries where it's mainly just them,
Yeah, of course.
them man love that. That's their thing. That's actually their thing. Like you see, that's gonna be rude, but you see when the
I'm
culture,
actually laughing on the back. It's actually mad.
that's their thing.
No,
Man, that's their
true.
culture.
That's-
Did you say that's their culture?
Slightly, that's their thing.
Bow.
No, it's true, brother.
That's actually their
It's
Nah,
true, brother.
condolences to the family. That's what
Like no, like they do some mess. Like I'm sorry to I listen. I love white people anyway. They're my people, but my
Protect your
thing,
back, Max.
my thing is just like they do a lot of mad stuff.
Okay. Okay, so just to wrap it up, yeah, like sometimes, yeah, do you feel like we generalize as bad as they generalize?
Yeah.
I know.
Are we
I know.
hypocrites to our own
I ain't gonna
detriment?
lie.
Like, are we a detriment?
I know,
What am I
I'm
trying to
racist
say?
sometimes.
Do you know what it
I'm not
is?
racist.
I feel like
There's better.
You all have no job on Monday.
I'm a racist.
Put that bit in there. You all have job on Monday.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
I feel like we are quite prejudiced to them, but I feel like it's justified because a lot of the time we're proven right.
Yeah, come on. When they're alone, they're like, look at these black cunts.
Oh my God.
Okay,
I don't
maybe I'm not
care.
racist.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
So like I'm not gonna lie, I can count the amount of like white people I can call friends on one hand. And obviously there's always that possibility that they could secretly really hate me. And that, fair enough, if you do, then I'm sorry to you, innit? Like you're stuck with me, so it is what it is.
Stuck with you.
But a lot of the times they prove you right. And it might not be now, and it might not be like openly, but eventually they're gonna do something and it's like, see, I knew
It's
eventually
facts.
you'd show your
It's
face.
facts.
So like I worked in a school and there was a white man and a black man that used to work together. And so they started having tension. And so the white woman, when she was talking to like someone else, said, oh yeah, the black girl just makes me feel inferior. So then she was asked why. She said, I don't know. So in that instance, what was anyone meant to do for you there? But it's because you're prejudiced against them and you try not to because she had a problem because the school is black. But your prejudice against black people is so strong that even when they're doing nothing to you, just their very existence is a problem for you. Like just them being them.
Another thing, why are they scared of us? We should be scared of them.
I can't answer that question for you, man.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
You're not wrong, but the answer to that question will never be answered.
It don't make no sense. We should be scared of you, lot, man. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it goes back to me. It's very interesting, and I'm gonna bring it back to this. How this episode is
I
about
was just about to say that.
being black on Black History Month, and we just been talking about white people.
Listen, anyway, there's not just thing as colour. We're just all different tones. We live in a different the equators. You know what I mean, we're all one people.
What are you trying to do, bro? Fucking them Gandhi, bro.
I'm trying to save our careers right about now.
All right, so let's just wrap up because we didn't really do it. Our pros and cons
Of what, being black?
Yeah,
Go on, yeah. Pros and cons. Hit them. Fire. Boom.
Con, it's tiring sometimes. Pro, I mean everything. Why that I'm black.
A pro for me is that I don't get a lot of illnesses. A con is like
I can't let you go elaborate on this one.
what?
This is what I meant.
Why we don't know what I'm talking about.
Elaborate. I want you to elaborate.
I know what you're talking
There
about.
are definitely people that won't know what you're talking about.
But why?
Because that's my pro, like. That's my pro.
Go on.
Okay.
Like, cause personally, like, black people. I don't know about you, a lot about, but I know about myself and my family and that. But like stuff, I see a lot of like other races suffer with that. We don't really get that. Because us, like, we
Clean ourselves.
we know how to look after. Well, I'm not saying other races don't, but we know remedies and stuff like that. That
But on the contrary, there's illnesses and diseases that us the black people are more prone to compared to
like
sickle cell, keloids, there's loads of things. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, but for me, a pro is that I don't really get a lot of illnesses. I hardly get sick.
and con.
I just feel like I'm constantly have to just be on my P's and Q's. I just have to be on point.
Does it con first?
Con, yeah. Similar to Mike's, always have to be on my tiptoes, looking behind my shoulder. Especially,
Give us a different one. Let's give us a different one because we know that we've already said that.
God,
We haven't heard from you much today, Taz. God's a con, though, is it?
What? Don't come and try and get me in mix up over here, bro. Alright, now con. Being black is lit, so trying to think of another con is a bit mad right now. The way we have to present ourselves around other races. So like, yeah.
So it's like diluting yourself sometimes.
Yeah. Having to mask our true identity.
Yeah, that is like a prime example. We all know it.
Yeah.
What the fuck you had a what? Hello. You know, like that. Come on,
hi.
Come on, like we've all been through it in the household. We've all been through it. Yeah.
It's true.
What do you call it? Code switching.
Yeah, it's so
switching.
mad, but it's mad. It's such a
Code switching is also. I think it's a survival technique.
Yeah,
Man.
fact.
Let's be real. That is definitely a survival technique.
The minute I get on the phone to her, hello, hi, you're not getting none of that.
But I think I know we're wrapping up, but I think you can't have to do that then because there's the human brain is like we're very intelligent in it, so we know what sounds and like how you speak tells so much about you. We can't help it. Do you know what I mean? That's why they always say like, no, speak well because it puts you in demographic. If someone's illiterate, it already how people perceive you is already like determined. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, why isn't Afro-Caribbean dialects seemed as professional? I'm not the person to ask that question, but it's interesting the fact that we have not even Western English, just standard English even. Do you know what I'm saying? Because even when you go to America, if you speak in an English accent, again, you're also deemed as heightened and high status and whatnot. I mean, if you look at it, watch every movie, when you have a villain, especially like when you have a villain,
if it's English,
it's an English accent most of the time. That's because status and all these kind of things. It's very interesting. But yeah, Question. You're pro.
My pro, the vibes that we bring. I don't feel like we just bring a different vibe, as in comparison to anybody else. Like
There's the little stuff with
I could link up with a group of black people. A song could play. I don't know these people from nowhere, but the song's playing. Song's fucking going off, mate, and we're vibing. Like, obviously, other races do it as well, but no other race does it like us, innit? So the vibe that we bring, that's my pro still.
Con about being black. Now you put the whole sentence. It does sound hard.
That's why.
Con of being black. That's
There's actually not many.
They thought I was here taking crack.
Okay.
Con of being black. I think con of being black is having to constantly remind yourself of your culture and heritage and who you are, because I feel like, especially living in the Western world, people try to strip it away from you. I feel like, so it's like having to go, oh, I need to, be who I truly am. Like, hold on to you who truly you are, because I feel like every day you're kind of like, be like this, be like this, be like this. Why do you act like this? Why do you cut your hair? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And it's like, I need to hold on to this, and it's kind of the struggle and that tension is the frustrating bit, I find. And a pro is the melanin, man. Just being who you are. Like, the fact that your skin's dark, you can, vitamins D's there. You're strong,
Length
even
and
if
strength.
do you know what I mean? Oh my gosh. But strength, not even in that sense, but just actual strength and drive.
I should have said that as a pro. What?
And no, cool.
That's a
big
pro.
other thing, and
Trust
like
me.
drive and this, just being strong, and that doesn't mean you can do so different. Because I think there's a connotation behind that as well. It stems from slavery, like black people are strong, so therefore you can go through and endure more pain. It's not that, but it's just being powerful, and that doesn't mean physical strength. It just means power in who you are as an individual, whether that's an intellect, physical strength, speed, agility, etc., etc. Rianna, talk to the people then.
I went first.
You went first, bro. She done it already.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you on crack?
Someone wasn't paying attention.
I wasn't paying attention.
Trust me.
But there you go. That is our special episode for Black History Month. And I just want to shout out to Rianna for coming on the pod.
HD and
Yeah.
Thanks for having
Big
me,
up the
guys.
producer them, Soapbox Studios, you know the vibe. Yeah. MTM Podcast, episode 6. What does it mean to be about being? Oh my God. I was. I go again. What is the question?
What does it mean to be black?
There you go.
what does being black
That
mean to you?
Basically, black.
black.
Love and respect and blessings.
And
Peace.
black.
Have a black.
Black.